Hello and welcome to Sacred Symposium. This is part of my YouTube where I usually do a channel from spirit. Sometimes it can become a mediumship session, but either way I'm connected. I've opened up my energy and I'm ready to receive a message for you that will help you in some way, or just transfer some energy to you, or it might even go into a meditation, who knows, but something that you can listen to and you receive from the transmission. You receive an energy as well, so hopefully it will help heal, it will help transform, it will help inform as well in some way. I'm kidding. I hope you're well. Today is September 17th and it is a Tuesday and the sun is shining outside on this beautiful day in London. I think we're getting a little bit more warm weather, so we had a bit of a shock to the system where it went very cold, but now I think we're going to get a few days of warm weather just before the real cold autumn weather hits. The window is closed, but I'm sure you can still kind of hear a little bit of noise from outside, so sorry about that. There are people building next door and cars can sometimes be a bit noisy around here. I also have my little trusty stone, which I carry just to help me when I'm speaking. I use it, I just hold it for mediumship or for any channeling, and it helps open up my throat area. It helps the communication. Also the receiving, I have to receive in order to communicate. So sometimes I just roll it in my hands to help me with that. I kind of joined with my guides, and usually I sort of open a door to them and let them come through and enter into my room, which I think they're doing now. But for a moment I just went through the door myself and sat in a space and had someone come in and almost trip up over themselves because they wanted to speak. This is someone I have brought forward through before, and I said, no, I'm not bringing you forward. And he's like, why not? And I was like, well, because we just brought you through before. And it's almost like he's chomping at the bit to get back and get speaking again. And then it was almost like he was going, just pretend to somebody else, just do a channel, but it'll be me. So this happened the last time when I refused to let him speak. Let's see what will happen. So I never know what's going to happen in these sessions. I just sit here and see what happens. But because I am psychic, because I am a medium, because I have ability to channel, I have a confidence now to just come sit in front of the camera, and I know something's going to happen. And usually they can go on for quite a while and bring forward amazing pieces of information that I would never be able to come up with nor remember. It's always nice just to do this off the cuff and see what happens. So definitely this person is here who I brought forward before. And he's pulling up a tall stool. Okay, so this might be like mediumship again. He's acknowledged that I've acknowledged that he's here and I'm willing to maybe work with him. And he's pulling up a very tall stool, like a metal stool, black, with a black cushiony top on it, roundy. And it's like he's sitting in that. It's almost like a director's chair. It's not a director's chair, but it's almost like something you would see in I'm kind of seeing like a stage set or a studio set, something like that. He's dressed in black, casual black though, sort of, could be like black jeans or black trousers and a open black shirt, open to here. He's saying not that he had much chest hair to show off. Don't know about that. Don't think he did actually. What would you like to say now you've been given the spotlight? He's feeling the spotlight is very much upon him. He's feeling that he may be brought back into the spotlight again soon, as events unfold. I'm hearing there is a legal situation I am aware of. I think this is under mediumship number 5 in my previous recordings, so if you want to go back to that one and have a watch, you might get an idea of who this is. I never really give their name because I kind of want you to work it out, or I don't want to be I don't know, I'm never really fully, not confident in it, but some people might believe you and some people might not. So it's like I kind of don't want to give a name, and I want to just get the information. It was kind of showing me a basket of like apples there and saying something like peas in a pod. Don't know what that means. Did he dress up as that or something? Getting an itchy nose now. The spirit does that as well. Just happy to be here. He's amazed that he's been given the chance as well. So he's still under supervision, and it sounds like he was just acknowledging some people on the side who are with him, who are, I believe, guardians and helpers and healers, who are monitoring him in his development. So there is a little partial addiction to, dare we say, coming through now, that it stimulates an interest in him and raises his energy, he's saying. So it feels like it kind of feels like it's still that earth desire to be seen on the earth, or desire to be part of the earth in some way, and in this way he can be, in this way he can still contribute, to be recognized, to be seen. Not that he's looking for stardom, he's not at all. He's not looking to be worshipped, but it's like he's so full of creative energy. Like he's just so full of it. He heard that like I heard myself when I said that. That slight when you say to someone they're so full of it, but that it wasn't meant in that way. It was meant as in he is full of getting cold now. He is full of creative energy and he wants to use it. It's like, so they're kind of showing me now, I'm seeing the group of people, and they're kind of, I'm seeing like, it's almost like a tank full of something, and the tank has to drain, and it takes a while for the tank to drain out. So it's like your battery in your phone. They're showing me also your battery in your phone. It's full, but it eventually will drain down to zero, but it takes a little while and a little bit of usage to drain it down to zero. So it's almost like this session is him using a little bit more of that energy so he can drain right down to zero. So in that sense, there is still that earthy connection within that battery life, and the fact that it's kind of dwindling a little bit. He doesn't necessarily like the sensation of that dwindling, but there's an understanding that when it dwindles to zero, that a whole new experience will be upon him. And perhaps this is a bit like fast tracking. So fast tracking is something we did when we were in lockdown. There was groups of us got together, and we used to sit over Zoom and bring in people who had passed, and they would give us messages about their life, and then they would walk through our energy, and that would help them progress on their next phase, be it coming back, be it just going on and developing a bit further. So this feels like cold, like a bit of fast tracking, and I feel because of the chills that there might be more people who are coming through, who have been on the stage, who have been through addictions, who have been through traumas, who have died in compromising situations, I'm hearing. We've got Robin Williams just moving through again. He's around a lot. He likes being on the stage. I think he's found a friend as well in this person. See, I can mention him, I can mention his name, but not the main guest. He's kind of asking me why, and maybe I'll say it at the end, but I won't say it now because I feel it then this huge kind of responsibility to get your information correct, and whereas now I can just speak without that, like, so it's me that's kind of stopping the name. But yeah, Robin Williams is around a lot as well. He's saying good morning Vietnam. That might be a hint to war. it's like he's pulled up a seat. Oh, and they did work together, actually. They were on set together. Interesting. Okay. So, because he's pulled up a stool next to him, and they're like chit-chatting and kind of throwing like smart comments over and back, or not smart comments, but it's almost like there's a script. They've written a script, over and back script. You say this, I say that, and this is entertaining. And so very much the entertainers, very much putting on a show still. I feel Robin is here to help him. Robin he's kind of saying that his battery was drained, and he got to zero, and he got to experience a lot. So he's come sort of back as an aid to this person, as a helper to this person, as a mentor to this person. I wonder, did they have any other connections? I do know that they were on a program together. I don't know if they've had any other connections. It's so cold. Shivers. Oh, good. And they make me tired too. It's like, are we boring you? Okay, so this guy wants to get serious now. And it's about addiction. There's a momentum to it. And he's kind of saying there is a consenting as well. There is a point where you just kind of, you don't try and not do the thing. Like you just shrug your shoulders and go into it. The reward, the dopamine reward is the thing. And reliance on that, then there's a reliance on that high, that kick when it kicks in, just that satisfaction. And when it kicks in, there's a sensation, that dopamine sensation. And that's why you have gambler addicts. He's kind of telling me as well. You win and you get that sensation of winning, that joy, that ego, that hormone change within you. Because gambling doesn't have a substance, right? So he's saying it doesn't have to be a substance. It's just that dopamine hit, that reward, that, you got what you needed, like your body gained so much pleasure. It hits the pleasure centers. So it's this desire for pleasure over pain, over boredom. He was a bit bored, over routine. He's kind of bringing me to his book now, and I haven't read it yet. I'm sorry. I must read it. He's talking about shadow aspects. There are still shadow aspects following him around, which is strange because he's in a different place. But it's like there are people nosing around his estate, or his like going through his documents, through his properties, through his anything that is still here on the earth that was connected to him. It's like there is he's getting a child there, but I don't know if he was a godfather to a child. I don't think he had any of his own. So there might be some people trying to get something out of the family. Stranger things have happened, he's saying. He's observing his family. He's definitely looking out over them. And he would include some friends with that, but it's like the deeper connections. It's like he really wanted deep connections. And I'm not sure he got the depth that he wanted. And he's saying solitary, so even if you're with people, you can feel alone and separate. because you're hiding your true self. And your true self is what is beyond the addiction. So he's saying the true self is beyond the addiction. So people will say, oh, you're hiding your true self, you're hiding that you're an addict. And he's going, no, the addiction is not my true self. My true self was beyond the addiction. So it's that spark in a person, even beyond the addiction. The addiction is an energy that has hold over the body. The addiction is an energy that has hold over the mind. But it is not the being. And it is part of the physical existence. He's pointing now that it is part of experiencing physical existence. Not that you have to go down the addiction route, but it is very physically based. It can be more physical, he's saying. And he's saying it's weird because it kind of takes you to a different level. It takes you to the other realms sometimes. Like it kind of gives you that. It's very physical. And for example, with drugs, it's something you ingest, you put in your physical. It's a physical element you put in your physical, but it kind of takes you to another realm. It eases the physicalness. So he's saying the contradiction, not taking something physical to alleviate the physical suffering. And the fact that the physical thing takes you to the other realm. So now he's saying there's no education on spiritual development, there's no education on spirituality. He's not including religion because religion doesn't prepare people for hearing intergalactic communication. It doesn't prepare people for the spiritual world, like interacting with the spiritual world. We all go and we sit in a church and we he's kind of go, oh, you're taking over now. This is my show. He's going, go on. So you're all sitting in a church and you're going through your routine, you're saying your prayers and then you leave, but there's no actual, okay, what is it like when a spirit energy comes and stands next to you? How does that feel? Like there's none of that. They don't teach you. Back to you. And so he's saying to me, like, he's glad I'm doing what I'm doing, and if it's required, if it's asked for, to carry on doing it. But I have lots of different things I'm doing. Are you going to help me with these things? He's saying, yeah, sure, if you want my help, I'm there. He goes, I was always like that. I'm going to burp. Excuse me. Energy in, air out. He said I was always like that. He was always, if somebody needed him for something, he was there. There like a shot. This is the energy. Maybe because I said somebody's standing next to me. Do you want to come closer, friend? So there is somebody moving more into my energy now. He's looking in a book, like a diary, like a leather, almost bluish notebook type thing. It's kind of reminded me of one of the books that I have, a little notebook I have, which I might have to look at and see what I've written in that book. Looks a bit like my tarot notebook. Did he have tarot done? King of Swords, he's saying. So tarot can be read lots of different ways. He's looking at the book and he's saying King of Swords. It's interesting he's saying king, because I know a lot of information on the person who gave him the drugs was that she was called the Queen of something something. But the swords can sometimes be like injection. And he's saying King of Swords. So, and I think I said this the last time, that there is a kingpin who's going to fall. So he's saying something about a book, and his name's in the book. This King of Swords is in the book. Ah, okay. So it's like they're searching for this book. They're looking for this book. They're looking for the information. Because it is. And it might be them. It might be the peddlers of this stuff who are actually trying to get some of the possessions back in case there's a name written somewhere. That's what it feels like. I don't know if there's any news or information about what's happening at his home. Someone's getting paid off as well. And there's somebody getting big money just to get rid of a piece of evidence or something. This is a bit interesting. I feel he's bringing me to his mother now, and I feel she's still in a bit of pain. She's still grieving. I'm seeing sunshine. It's like she might go outside for a walk or sit in the sun, or when she's sitting under the sun she might think of him and send up prayers for him. And he said he gets them, he receives them. It's almost like he wishes like she wasn't doing that. Why am I getting that energy? She definitely, there's, oh God, I'm getting so cold. There is information about his mother in my previous video, and here it kind of feels like maybe she didn't do enough when he was here, or he felt that way. Doesn't mean she didn't. It's how it felt to him. And dare I say, that can sometimes be a Leo thing. There can be an interesting bond with the mother. You know, that worship. Because the Leo is very needy. It's very needing. It's very absorbing. Absorbs a lot of energy, needs a lot of energy. He's saying that's what happened. His body absorbed too much in the substance. It was absorbing, damaging his internal organs, damaging him physically. He was a bit like a sponge. But he's saying so now he's kind of coming a bit closer. It's hard when he's under the spotlight. It's kind of like he's a bit further away, but now he's coming closer. And he doesn't want to end this on a dark note. He was intelligent, he was bright, he was creative. It's like I'm seeing him as happy, but also sad. It's like the happiness was there in the background, but it's like he needed the substance to kind of bring it forward. I'm just trying to tell him that so many people loved him. Possibly from afar, but loved him. He says he knows that. He sees that even where he is now. People are there for him. William is getting up. Robin Williams is getting up. Coming over. Again, they'll only give him a little while. They'll not give him too long. He's like riding forever. You know, some people get a tattoo forever. I don't think he had tattoos though. He's saying I'm doing a good job. He's now bringing me to what's Ross? What's his real name? Oh, that'll probably give you a hint. David, isn't it? Might be some kind of memorial or something, or work that David's doing in memory of. Or it doesn't have to be work, it could be creating something, or having a dinner, or just something to bring everyone together in memory. Piano. I think I got piano last time as well. Piano. Not sure you played the piano. It's like, playing the piano and singing Life and Soul. Life and Soul of the party. You could really turn it on and just be everybody's, because people loved him because his energy was beautiful, lovely, funny. He was a funny guy. And that's classic Leo as well. It's needing the audience. So this playing to an audience, this being on stage, this adoration, it's not in a bad way that they wanted or needed, but their character is such that you'll often find them on stage or in a position where they have an audience in some regard, because they like people looking at them, they like people cheering for them, they like people observing them, or they don't mind standing out. He's reminding me they've very little boundaries, so boundaries get crossed all the time, limits get crossed. And he's not saying he had a bad life. Yes, he did a lot because he was down. But even at that, he wasn't down and out. So he has that for himself. He has that respectability, he's saying. But he is saying it with tongue in cheek. He's thanking me for having him again. I've got Robin Williams kind of shouting at him, "Come on! Time to go! Time to get out of here!" He's still got that jovial, young, flighty, sort of fiery, ungrounded. That's it as well. The feeling that just alive with that energy, needing to grind down in some way, and that was, I think, the uppers and the downers before. We talked about that in the last video. Sort of needing to anchor into something, and anchor into a routine. When you go from a schedule and you're going and you're sort of part of a structured, scheduled thing, and then to no schedule. It's like there's no grounding, there's no anchoring in, there's no... And he did work himself. Like, I'm seeing him like working at a computer, writing, like putting in the hours, like trying to get all that energy out onto the page, onto the work he was doing, onto projects, onto... But the addiction never left his mind. He wants to note something now, because he is talking about it's that pleasure thing. He's saying he could have gone on and really destroyed himself, but also destroyed others in the process. So if he wasn't going to be able to get a handle on it, that not only would it destroy him and his body and everything that he had, but those around him would suffer even more. So he said it is right that he's not putting anyone else through more suffering. So he is taking responsibility, and there's some self-blame. But in a sense, it's released. His passing has released. Grief is a different kind of suffering than watching someone go through something. So that brings him some solace, knowing that, because for family they would worry about him 24/7, and in a way they are grieving for him, but they don't have to worry about him in that other way. And it's like he's feeling that in whatever kind of physical or energetic way now, he can feel that there's a certain element of relief there. He said, watch the news, something might come up in the news. So he's given Robin Williams a big hug now. The two of them are bear hugging. He's very gracious. He keeps coming back to say thank you. So he was very much appreciative of people around him, I think. He was very polite, and I guess it's the American way, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome. And he's skipping away. The way he skipped in at the start when I went through the door myself, and he was sort of tripping up to come and get me. It's like that scene in one of the shows where he's kind of falling over his own feet to kind of reach you. And now he's kind of skipping away. Yeah, I did it again. So that little bit of ego. But he's looking back now and he's winking at me with the eyes of wisdom and understanding. So there's almost that two sides. There's that wisdom and that growth that he is part of, that he's achieving. He's still got a bit of a silliness in his energy, but that's fine, that's part of him. But he's like, don't underestimate. I see things very differently now. Thank you very much for coming forward. Robin Williams is closing the door. He's making sure he's not coming out again. Yeah. Okay. Okay. They make me tired. Is there anyone else that wants to come in and channel? We are 35. There might be some words coming through now, just bear with me. We are the angels of addiction. We are here to help those who have addiction problems. We are here to wipe the slate clean so you can regenerate and re-establish new boundaries in your world. There is a need to focus on growth, on your internal world, and really develop and synchronize with the highest aspect of you. Once you connect to that highest aspect of you, there is a charge, a force, a power that moves forward, which is much purer, much more resilient to infection, and much more able to direct you in a positive manner, allowing you to skip forward past any negative influences that are wanting to draw you back into their schema, to their society, to their indulgence, to their indoctrination. The purpose of being on the earth plane is to live an earth life, regardless of what that looks like to the outside. There is a purpose in all of your existences and all of your living, despite appearances. But what we would say is, if a being is struggling, you had a card pull earlier about the inner child. There are many wounded beings who alleviate their suffering from childhood with addiction. That the wounding itself stimulates an escape, stimulates moving away from the pain, which unfortunately often is towards pleasure, is towards some satisfaction in some way. And this alleviation within the physical, but also within the brain mechanism, the brain chemistry, sets for a soothing medicine for beings who have had awful experiences in the past and are simply trying to regulate their system. So what we are saying is, have patience with those who are raising their consciousness with the rest of humanity, who are deciding to step forward and live a cleaner life, and also have patience for those who are still struggling with that step. It is an incredibly huge step, and many are lost because they cannot take that step. What we say to you is, be forgiving, is be honourable, is be supportive in any way you can to all those around you, because you do not know by looking at them their suffering. You do not know their pain. They may never express it to you whatsoever. So deeming someone more we are trying to find the word for her. Deeming someone more we're still trying to find the word. Bear with us. cannot find the word. She knows the word. She has the word. We cannot bring it forward out of her mind. Deeming someone more what she means to say is, we cannot believe she is unable to bring forward this word. It is when you have people and you judge in a certain way that they have access to this or that or the other, that you decide in some way of what they can have and what they can have of value, based on what your awareness is. She really wants to get this word. Worthy. Thank you. If you deem someone more worthy of respect, if you deem someone more worthy of your help, your assistance, that is your criteria. That is deciding that. That is not the divine. So we are saying they are all worthy. Everyone is worthy of light, of blessing, of support, because that is the earth journey. So knowing that someone has come forth to have an experience as controversial and as against your belief system as it may be, as frustrating, as worrying, as frightening for you as it may be, there are ways to not necessarily manipulate, but ways to coax the energy to shift in a better way. And we would say that is the work. If you cannot be front and center in helping people who are particularly throughout certain continents suffering a great deal due to the fact that they have been given substances they shouldn't have been given. They've been given addictive substances they shouldn't have been given. And many, in many continents, are having an explosion of disaster upon them. So, we cannot deem one more worthy than another. We must see the worthiness of our love, of our compassion, of our forgiveness, of our light. If we cannot do anything else, send a blessing their way. And it will hold, it will stick, it will transform. They will know one day, even if not in the earth plane, they will know when they transform into their next state. They will know and understand the blessing you sent and the work that you did to surround them in love for their health and well-being. Thank you. With that, we will step back. We are always around. If ever needed, you can call in us for support. Thank you. To feel the energy rise up and out. Okay. Thank you very much. Again, never sure if I'm going to put this up, but maybe I will and see what their reaction is. Angels of addiction. There you go. If you know anyone who's suffering, ask them to call in those angels. and see if they can draw to them more of the higher consciousness to help. And I think they've mentioned the step as well. So everything is step by step by step. You're not going to get there in a day. Even things with depression, anxiety, all that negative thinking. Negative thinking is an addiction. Negative thinking is a spiral. And if you find yourself, the brain will return to it again and again because it's easy. The brain doesn't have to think a new thought. And once your energy is low, the thought is a low thought, then the next thought will stay a low thought. You have to pull yourself out of it. So use the angels to help you. That's why we have access to that realm. More now than ever. So call on them. And send that blessing to whoever you meet along the way. Certainly in London you see a lot of people who are stuck in a cycle. And if you can send your blessing, that's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. September 17th, 2024. We had our guest again. Have you worked out who it is? Take care.